Mr. Speaker, that is why, when the House comes to debate again and vote on these matters, the House needs to do so aware that if it votes to reject the deal that the Prime Minister has negotiated, then every member, whichever side of the House they sit on, whichever party or part of the country they represent, will also need to judge what alternative they choose that will be both negotiable with the European Union and will command a majority here. And I have to say that there are some home truths that need to be faced by colleagues of mine, by honourable members opposite, who have expressed strong views on European matters. Now, some have urged that we should simply press ahead, leave without any deal and move straight away to World Trade Organisation terms. And those honourable members who are attracted by that option, perhaps on grounds of sovereignty, need to weigh the political attractiveness for them of that option against the fact that trade on WTO terms would do serious harm to our automotive, aerospace and agricultural sectors, amongst others, and that worse, a sudden severing of preferential trade access in less than 4 months' time would be hugely disruptive and harmful to our economy, with a direct cost in terms of jobs and investment. Now, those who advocate, by contrast, a different model for our future relations, whether Norway and the Customs Union or whether a Canadian-style classic free trade agreement with the European Union, have to address the reality that the withdrawal agreement, something covering citizens' rights, something covering a financial settlement, something covering the question of the Irish border, is an unavoidable gateway to negotiations for any of those outcomes. And because there will be a risk, whether that risk is large or small, of a gap between the end of a transitional period and the new partnership coming into effect, a backstop and insurance policy of some kind for the Irish border will be an unavoidable part of such a withdrawal agreement. And then there are those, Mr. Speaker, who urge a second referendum in the hope of reversing the decision of 2016. Now, I've come to terms, Mr. Speaker, with the decision that the people took, though at the time I think the whole House knows it was something that I hugely regretted. But I think those who champion the second referendum do have to confront the fact that such an outcome would certainly be divisive, but could not guarantee to be decisive in ending this debate. Further still, those colleagues who champion that approach should not underestimate the damage that would be done to what is already a very fragile public confidence in our democratic institutions. Mr. Speaker, my right honourable friend the Prime Minister is determined to do everything in her power now to secure the safeguards and assurances for which so many right honourable members have called. And as in every step in these negotiations, she is motivated by the national interest and by nothing else.